All right, so I've started on the wiring for the control cabinet. Got my cabinet there, everything's all drilled out. I got my back plane all drilled out and tapped for mounting all my hardware in here. And as you can see, I've started working on the wiring there. That is coming together nicely. I did get the cables run here for my homing switches. Need to get some heat shrink on those labels to keep them fixed there. Grommets in place everywhere we come through the metal. In the back here as well. And then I got to solder up my connections for my limit switches here, for these homing switches. But that brings us to the next part here. Once I start soldering up, well, at least once I get a soldered connection on both ends of this cable, it doesn't come out of here without desoldering it. So as much as I want to see this thing up and moving under its own power, I think I'm going to take the time to disassemble everything and get some paint on this thing. So then I can finish off wiring and not have to disassemble it again. So I got a couple more things I got to do. I got some brackets I got to put on for mounting the drag chains. And I want to build, I don't know, something in here for holding the plasma cutter. A little tray for that. So yeah, I think my plan at this point is I'm going to get this finished off because I'm right in the middle of it and I want to get this mess here cleaned up. And then I'll do those brackets and then I'll disassemble everything for paint. So that's the plan here for this week. And then we're going to be really, really close to getting it up and running. Exciting. Can't wait. It's been a long project. I want to get this thing up and going. So let's get back to work on this here. All right, so Amazon came through, showed up here yesterday with my new plasma cutter. So I picked this thing up, got a smoking deal on it. I've been looking for a plasma cutter for a while, for the last few months anyway, and I wanted something a little bit bigger. So I went with an 85 amp machine, which is reported, they're supposed to cut up to about an inch thick. So that's what I'm looking for. The market seemed to dry up, inventory seemed to dry up, and there wasn't much available, and prices kind of went a little bit crazy for a while there. And then I noticed just the other day that this was on sale, like smoking good deal. So I ended up picking this up. It is a STC 850p Max, which is their CNC version. So it came with handheld torch. I think this is an 80. I think. I got to check the consumables and maybe I can cross-reference them and figure out which those are. I've got an IPT M100 coming, which is the straight version and 100 amp torch. So I will have no duty cycle issues with that. But this will be nice. What I'm going to do, I think, is make a separate torch holder that'll fit this thing. And then when I want to cut, don't fall off on me here now. When I want to cut smaller stuff, I can just swap this one in because I can get smaller consumables for it for doing fine work. Like if I wanted to do artsy kind of stuff, cut thin sheet metal, then I can use this torch. Otherwise, I'll use a big torch for everything else. Came with some pre-wired terminals, which is great. Connectors. That is for back here. We've got arc voltage and control signals, so that's for so that my CNC can turn on the arc there, and arc voltage is for the torch height control. I'll use that there, so that's good. I will have to plug this thing in here soon and play with it and see what it does. I'm anxious to see. But I've been busy working on this thing, which is my controller for all of this. So as I've mentioned, I've been using the JD's Garage plans for building this thing. Although what I've got here looks nothing like JD's Garage. I did change the design of that part, but as far as all the electrical goes, I've been following their plans for this part. So it went pretty good. Took a little while, just trying to wrap my head around some of the terminology and some of the stuff they got in there, but I figured it out. It wasn't too bad. I did do a little bit of research on this stuff because, as I said, I know next to nothing about the electronic part of CNCs. So research means like watching lots of YouTube videos, and I found a bunch of guys who've had problems with their CNCs with the control part of it due to largely EMI, electromotive interference, I think it is. So plasma cutter making lots of funny stuff happen in the wires, which trips things and shuts off computers and causes bad cutting and whatnot. So I followed those guys and how they solve those, and a lot of it was related to shielding, grounding, and wiring. So I've tried to follow as best as I can some of these things that I've learned. There's a couple guys out there that have done really good, but Corvette Guy 50 is probably going to look at this and tear me apart, I'm sure. But I tried to do the best I could, at least for a home job guy, and my first crack at this. But I tried to eliminate all the daisy chaining, which is one of the big problems in the plans that still exists to a certain extent. It does look like JD's has gone and changed up some of the things, added in some buses now, which is a good improvement. And I took it a bit of a step further. So I got a separate bus for the 3v3, grounding, actual earth grounding, 5-volt plus and minus, another bus down there for more grounding. So everything, I think, is looking pretty good so far. I got a fan in here for cooling too. That's my exhaust fan, and an inlet down here will have a filter on it, so I'm sucking in clean air, and that's on the bottom, so it's not got dust falling on it. I got a switch here for turning it on and off. This is just temporary for right now. It's what I had, but I've got one on order that's like a nice on-off push button with a integrated light. So that'll be cool. Yeah, so that's all ready to install. But as you can kind of see, I've got this half torn apart here now. I got my dad up here to help me today. He had a little bit of free time and wanted to hang out at the shop, so we took the time to align the rails here and get them running dead straight. So I have a few surveying instruments, so I used a theodolite to line up on here precisely between end to end, and then made sure things were straight. But they were not straight. I found I had a bow in the middle, like this, or was it the other way? I can't remember. I think it was this way, of about 30 thou. So I've got some ratchet straps on here, and we managed to pull that back into place and got this running all within 10 thou easy. And the other side's dead parallel, so it worked out perfect. I'm really, really happy with that. Ratchet straps are not a permanent solution here, of course, so I think I'm going to order up a couple of turnbuckles, some decent sized ones, and I'll run some steel rods and turnbuckles, weld them on there, and then I've got some more permanent adjustment that I can have incorporated in here. So I've taken things apart to get ready for paint. So that's about all ready to go. I'm just gonna mask off those. And oh yeah, I gotta mount I need some mounting tabs here for, what is it? I need some brackets for, for the drag chain there. Those, I gotta weld those on quickly, and then I wanna make a tray here for that plasma cutter to sit on underneath the table. So, so I just got to do that, do a little cleanup, and then I'm ready for paint, which will be exciting. But I'm kind of out of time here for today, so I'll have to resume that in the morning. All right, just got done putting a coat of paint on. Starting to get down to the finishing touches. That feels good. Starting to get close to the end. And now that I got that done, once that dries overnight, I can get my electrical cabinet mounted up, start running all the wires, start reassembling things, and get that water pan in here. So getting down towards the end, starting to get excited about seeing this thing actually run. Okay, making some good progress with getting things reassembled here. Got the side brackets all, I got these little bits in here done for some little bit more stiffening. That is substantially stiffer now, actually. That's the first time I tested it. So yeah, it doesn't vibrate at all there now, which is very nice. Been working on this cable tray here to hold the drag chain. Got some wires I'm starting to run here. Waiting to do all my terminations until I get this drag chain done here. And once I got that all together, then I know exactly where things will run to and from, and I can cut things to length and do my terminations and get some wiring all sorted out. So getting closer to seeing this thing running. I'm dying to get it up and running here, but there's a lot of work to do. So a lot of little details, but we're getting close. So let's get back to work. All right, got everything done. All the wiring is put together. Got my nice little cable wraps on everything. I don't have the clamps done yet, which I'm going to do next, but I've got everything all assembled, wired, and complete. And I even have a pile of lights on in there, which is a good sign. It took me a little bit of work to get that controller programmed. It was being a little bit moody. I don't know if it was just my cable at home that it didn't like, but anyway, I got it. It's all connected to the laptop, and lo and behold, things actually move. How's that? Good to see this thing finally moving here. Excellent, and the x-axis works just fine as well. What does not work is my z-axis here. When I was wiring things up, I was having so much fun and so excited about stuff that I just went and wired the wires up according to these wires here coming out of this stepper motor, the other bigger ones. And one would assume that there would be some sort of standardized color coding here with these things, but yeah, no, the wires are different colors for different coils on this thing. So as soon as I hooked it up, it promptly let the smoke out. So I've got another one of these on order. I guess I can leave that unplugged, can't I? But yeah, everything's working. Limit switches all work. I did have to pull this apart and rewire the opposite. I can't remember if that was normally closed or normally open for this little switch right there. I forgot that I had changed things up from JD's garage as far as the design of that Z-axis carriage there, but everything else is working good. So I am very happy so far. Next step here, I think I'm going to make these clamps for the holder for the torch here, get that in, and if I've got that, I think I can pretty much start making some sparks. Maybe I'll make the water pan here first. I'll get that welded up and dropped in. That will be a big step. So yeah, excellent. This is a milestone. Good to see this thing finally moving under its own power after so long here. So very happy with things so far.